Welcome, Shelly. I'm super excited to interview Shelly. She is a recent grad of the Flow Coach Accelerator. She also went for her 100-hour Mace Vinyasa cert and earned it. And I have just loved watching her grow on social media, her presence, the content she's putting out, the programs that she's enrolling people into. It's really just beautiful to watch. So congrats, Shelly.
Thank
Shelly, tell us
you.
a little bit about kind of where you're from, what your background is. Yeah, go for it.
All right, so I live here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I've been a music teacher for 20 years, always have moved. I actually grew up doing yoga. My grandmother did yoga, and I did my first headstand when I was 4 years old. And so I always knew I wanted to be a yoga teacher, but I thought, oh, I'll do that when I retire. But then about 5 years ago, I was like, why wait till I retire? So I got my certification about 5 years ago, and I've been doing that on the side of teaching music. And then last year, I really just felt like a really strong desire to start my own business and something that could help people where I could move. And it was about wellness. So I didn't really know what I was going to do. So I started with the wellness coach certification. And so in June last year, I had my first clients. They're just my 5 little baby clients, just paying me a little bit. They were my friends, like, let's support Shelly. But I didn't really know exactly what I was doing. But the main thing I kept hearing with the people I was working with and just in general is so many people were in pain. So I was like, okay, I want to go deeper into this. I want to get training that actually helps people get out of pain and move better and feel better physically in their body. And that is when I came across your programs. So with the functional strength and the steel mace vinyasa, I was like, this is the program that I want. This is like what I want to do to help people.
Awesome. Cool. Well, that actually leads into my next question for you, which is tell me a bit about like where your business was at when you started the program. Like what were the pieces that you had and like what did you feel was missing?
Well, I was really just the very beginning of having my own business. I didn't have an LLC. I didn't have, I had no way to check out. I didn't even have the concept of a program. So I was like, I think I need contracts. That's where I was when I first started learning with you.
So you came into it knowing that you had a passion for teaching people, but you really didn't have like the structure in place for how to facilitate coaching. Can you tell me
Exactly.
a little bit about like what shifted for you when you started learning Stonemas Vinyasa and the methodology? Like how did your style of coaching change or develop once you started kind of getting into Flow Coach Accelerator content?
Yeah, yeah. So, well, through this coaching, it was just so much more comprehensive because you have the somatic coaching and you have the one-to-one coaching, and it's also really physical. So it's like through this steel mace workout, you actually are doing a lot with your body, but also mentally and emotionally. And then in the larger picture of the program, you're really pushed to capacity of what can you do. Like you're creating a program, you're putting things up online on your stand store, you're learning how to utilize social media. And while at the same time, you're like, this is where your arm needs to go and you need to engage the lats and you need to, so it's so much new information, but so it really kind of touched on maybe every part of me. And I felt like as I grew through Steel Mace and as a coach, I grew as a person. And and then I felt like what I was able to do for myself, I could absolutely help other people do too. And that was and is, it's the most amazing feeling.
I love it. I think really you nailed it completely. It's like in order for us to be able to coach, we need to embody the strong practice ourselves and really model that for our clients. And I think that's the best way to go about coaching is having your own personal transformation and then kind of bringing people in. I want to touch on kind of where you were at in your own movement practice when you began, and because I know you had some old injuries and such. So tell us a little bit about where you were at before you picked up the steel mace and started training, and then what your training routine looked like how many days a week, and just kind of where you're at now.
Yeah, so this is actually, I mean, huge. I had been working with a personal trainer for a year and a half. and this is, just in general, I wanted to get stronger, and I did get stronger with him, but I had this back injury, this upper back injury for over a decade. And I worked with him. Went to physical therapist. I went to a naturopath. Went to my doctor. I went to a chiropractor. Like nothing could heal this pain. And then I also had hip pain too. So my body, I also had pain. And I was hopeful, maybe Steel Mace Vinyasa can help. Maybe these things can make a little bit of a difference. I did not expect them to fully heal, but that's where I am now. Like I would have to use a dowel sometimes in the beginning with our practice, instead of a mace, because it just would get so tight and hurt. And then slowly, like I did the mace more and more. And now I up my mace, 2 pounds. It felt like 20 more pounds, but so like my back is just so much stronger, and I'm not scared to do the, chaturanga anymore. That would have made my back go out before. My hip, I can run again. And these are from, the shin box moves and a few other moves specifically geared towards the hip. I really feel just integrated my muscles, in a way that no other exercise has. So that was pretty transformative for me.
That's pretty huge. I think to be able to have that testimonial, especially for working with folks in chronic pain, like what it feels like to be in a body where you're afraid or you have fear reactivity, and now that there's a way out and you can regress, like you said, to a lighter load, level 1 or level 0.5 of all the exercises. And so I just love that you've had your own transformational experience with your own body. I'm curious, how many days a week were you doing Still Mace Vinyasa? Like, what did your weekly routine kind of evolve into, like midway through the program and kind of now? Like, how many days a week are you training Still Mace?
Yeah, so now I'm training 3 or 4 days a week. And I mean, at that height in the middle of the program, when I was like trying to get everything in, it was like 5 or 6 days, getting it all in. But it was what I think, in addition to the moves being so healing themselves, it was being within that container of accountability that kept it consistent, and like the expectation of doing it regularly also made such a huge difference. So it's still a regular part of my practice, but I also have, several clients I'm working with too, and encouraging them to, integrate it at least 2 or 3 days, because I think that's kind of the minimum. So I'm aiming for 3 to 4 right now.
Yeah, that's definitely a great like maintenance stage. I'm in the 3
Mhm.
to 4 zone right now, and it feels really good. But I love taking people through Flow Coach Accelerator and just giving people this practice, because it's like a program to follow. And a lot of yoga teachers, they do yoga kind of sporadically here and there, but they don't have an actual like yoga-based strength training program. And so to hear from you, it's really interesting to me, from me as a coach, to be like, okay, she was at the peak of it, hitting 5 to 6 days a week, and that you were able to kind of just bring it down to a level of maintenance that feels super consistent and doable. Yeah. Okay. My next question. So let's go back to the business piece. So how does your business look now compared to when you very first started? Like, what assets do you have in place? What systems do you have in place? What's your like understanding of business now versus when you started?
That has been a huge shift. I have my LLC. I have, my stand store. I have 3
Tell
solid
us what
one-to-one.
people don't always know what stand store is.
Oh,
So
sure. Yes, of
what
course.
is your stand store and why is that helpful for you as a business?
Stand store is it's so great. It's so helpful. It's an online service where people can buy your programs. And so you can put things up that are freebies, and get them interested in you and your programs, and get their email and get them on your list. And you can also list courses on there. I'm utilizing it in several different ways. I actually have my video library on there, and I have 4 or 5 different courses on there as well. And that includes like a manual people can download as soon as they pay, things like that.
Oh my gosh, you have 4 or 5 different programs and courses? That's incredible. I love it.
Yeah. But it's, what you said to do, like iterate, like that's what I've done, So I've taken like I have the 3 one-to-ones that we developed during our coaching together, which is the 30-day, and then the 10 one-to-one, 10 client, 10 sessions one-to-one, and then the 12-week program, right? So now I have 2 more that are, it's just a 6-week workshop there's only steel mace, so it's not as a comprehensive as program. And then I have an online holistic nutrition and movement program that I'm starting in January. So
That's amazing. So you have basically like, you went from having like no offers to now 5 different offerings. Like you have a
yes.
whole offer suite that you can
Yeah.
take people in that are interested in movement. You can take people in that are interested in nutrition and group. I think really that is the key to success for yoga, like yoga practitioners and yoga teachers that want to move into this like premium health coaching and wellness coaching space, is to have the various offers. So I love that you're seeing progress with that.
Yeah.
And how many emails did you have on your email list roughly, like when you started, and how many have you gained in that, I would say like 4 or 5 month container with me, or like how many?
Sure. I did not have an email list.
You're zero.
So I had 0.
Okay.
And today I have 82.
And
So
then you
mhm.
converted some into clients too, right? You have a handful of clients.
Yes, I have 5 one-on-ones right now that I'm working with. My class is starting in January, the online course. I already have 5 people signed up, and I have 3 more people that are like, I want to sign up. And then I'm doing my Steel Mace solstice workshop this Saturday. So I'm hoping I get a few more people with that as well.
And you're still working full time. So you're kind of at capacity. Like you can't really go more than 5 right now.
Yeah. No, yeah, 5 is a good number for working full time and doing something else. Well, and I don't know if I can jump into this because,
I want to
okay,
hear about your program. Tell me about your program.
the online, the holistic movement.
You can tell me what you're going to tell me, but I'm going to ask.
Okay. So the expansion that I had while working with you and your coaching program, just the ability to hold more. Like I would say that like that is like one, besides like the healing of my entire body, was like was just such a huge takeaway. I feel that I know how to stay grounded, and I've been able to picture myself doing more, being more without, falling apart, feeling grounded while I do it. So that, yes, I can work full time. I can still have my own movement practice, and I can, create these other programs and have an email list and build a website, and then also still make some music as well. So
I love it. You're a Jill of all trades, it sounds like. So let's dive into your program, because in the
okay.
Flow Coach Accelerator, every coach who's going through the 100-hour, I have different like tracks. So we have the 100-hour, we have a 50-hour option for kinesiology yoga, and then we have a non-cert track. So everyone is working towards this similar goal of developing their signature 12-week program. So
Mhm.
tell us, what is the name of your signature program? And just tell us kind of what it all entails. Like, how is it unique and different from just yoga?
Sure. It's 12 weeks to embody strength. So it's 12 weeks, get strong as you navigate change. And the change I'm speaking of in my program is the hormonal shift. So it's perimenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal women. And that is kind of the focus. So it dives into hormones, and it is a really comprehensive program. It's what are we eating, training on the 4-day wave, and meditating, journaling, and having those non-negotiables that you're utilizing every day to keep yourself on track, and yeah, to really transform your mindset and your body at the same time.
And you've been facilitating that with some clients too. How are they?
Yeah. So I have 3 clients that are doing my 12-week program right now, and then 2 that are doing the 10 pack. So
And what kind of results are your one-on-one clients seeing once they're kind of getting into like, week 6 to 8? Like what kind of things do they say that they're experiencing?
yeah, so they're nearing the end right now. They're just so much stronger like that. And so more energy, greater strength, like just more confidence in moving and like lifting things up, not scared they're going to hurt themselves. And better sleep. Like that is huge. Like a lot of women going through perimenopause, menopause have trouble sleeping. So getting that ability to sleep back is huge. And that of course, then gives you more energy, which then allows you to work out, which then builds the strength. So it all, ties together. And that's pretty much across the board. Several of my clients also have lost weight, just trimming down, but they all feel stronger, more energy, which is really great.
Oh my gosh, that's so incredible. And
Yeah.
I just done yoga for a lot of years. Like yoga alone is awesome. It's great for like stress reduction, but I really think the key is stress reduction and meditation to like lower our cortisol.
Mhm.
That's the functional movement training with load and then the HIT training as well. And when we have that perfect recipe and we have that consistency and planning and accountability, that's when we can really facilitate deep change, which it sounds like you basically taken what you've learned and what you embodied, and now you're leading others in your community too. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's, as I've been doing all this research on menopause, they're like, oh, you need HIIT and you need strength training and you need to regulate your hormones with, maintain your stress, like make sure you're managing your stress, and you need to meditate and I'm like, oh, these are all the things that Summer taught us. And so the other things I put in my program, but like with the specific reason, like we need this now as women in our lives more than ever.
Yeah, and I think too, you have a journal element too, or they're journaling
Yes.
their internal
Mhm.
experience. I think for me, just what I've noticed over the years is when we can coach people to have their own like intrinsic motivation versus like I just have to do this because the research says it's. I think adding that element of journaling and reflection and bringing it into relationship with coach. Do you have any feedback on just the journaling piece or the introspective piece of what your clients are taking away? That's more like I don't know, more of the emotional wellness.
Well, yeah, what they're saying is like, 9, 10 weeks ago, then when they're writing, like, I want to let go of this, I want to manifest this. And then they're seeing like, oh, now it's starting to happen. Like the things I wanted to let go of, like because of the work I'm doing, I'm letting go of them. And the things I wanted to bring in, I'm bringing in. And it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's so cool because the mind and body are so inextricably linked, and we can use our movement practice when we really pair it with a mindset practice and these other like lifestyle changes to really start to shape our reality. So it sounds like you're doing just that. Have
Yeah.
a workshop on the solstice. Tell me a bit about that.
So yeah, I'm really excited about this. It's this Saturday. So we will, go through a whole steel and mace, elicit the flow state, and with the focus on hips and shoulders, and we'll do an open hip workout, and then we will end with a mini sound bath. So I'm bringing my sound bowls, and yeah, so after we've done our long deep stretches at the end of the steel mace, we'll all just be like chilled out and just like let the sound waves wash over us for that deep healing. And the theme is honoring the dark, welcoming the light.
My gosh, I love it. I wish I was there. I would totally definitely up my alley. And you're signed up for the retreat. What drew you to come? We have like I think it's a 6-day training retreat in Richland, Washington. And I saw that you signed up. So I'm curious. Tell me a little bit about why you're deciding to deepen your practice with the 6-day intensive.
Well, I love how strong I've gotten, and I just want to keep getting stronger. And I'm really interested in the warrior element. And that is actually something I like to bring into these programs as well. And I want to keep bringing them, is like empowering that inner warrior. And so I don't know, there's just something about, it's women, and especially, I grew up in Texas and we're taught to be very demure. And even though my mother is not, but like that was the culture I was in. And I think that just empowering that voice of ours, like it's just so important. And I feel that through the movement practice of gaining that strength and doing the warrior moves, the striking and blocking, not only does it strengthen you physically, it strengthens you emotionally as well. And I want to go deeper into it. I feel like I have a warrior calling.
Amazing. Okay, so my final question for you is, what would you say to somebody that is on the fence about joining the Flow Coach Accelerator?
Mm. Oh, if you are thinking about it, then that means you need to do it because this is the most comprehensive, amazing program. When I went into it, I didn't even know how good it was going to be. I didn't know how much it would change who I am and how I see the world and what I can do. And I'm not finished. Like I'm still going back to the manuals. I think I'll still keep going back to the manuals and, back to the videos. And I'm just like, what was that thing that Summer was saying about somatics and that one way, certain way? And what is that? Just, there's just so much to it. And the layers are really deep and you can keep digging in for a while. And not only did it transform me as a person and make me actually a much better comprehensive coach, but it gives you something that is complete for your client, something unique that actually deals with the whole person inside and out and in a really heart-centered way. Like, I think that's another big part of it that drew me into this practice, is that it's really honoring people, who they are and their creativity and their spirit, and that it's just a really beautiful practice. So I would say go for it. You will not regret it, and you'll have things for years to come that you'll draw upon.
Yeah, I love it. So where can we find you on Instagram? What's your website? If anybody wants to go and look up Shelly, if you're in New Mexico and you need a coach, highly, highly recommend working with Shelly. Just fill us in on your socials and your website and any other spots we can find you hanging out on the web.
Sure. I'm on Instagram a lot, and that's actually that my handle there is the same as my website. So that's Shelly Lay Moves, and that's SHELLYLEY Moves. So yeah, Shelly Lay Moves on Instagram, and ShellyLayMoves.com is my website. So yeah, and you can sign up for my email list on my website as well and see my current programs.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Shelly, for taking the time with me today. It's always so nice to just hear things while it's fresh. And I'm so excited to train with you in person at the retreat. And thanks everyone for tuning in.